Oh, yeah. Let's go. All right. I got to get my self together, ladies and gentlemen. That's not what we're looking for. See, now my browser disappeared because I'm not on my normal monitor setup, so this should go over well. All right, I'm going to have to pull up my chat on my phone so I can keep up to date with you guys. How's everyone doing? How is everyone doing? Let me know in the chat. Shelly. Let's go. Sean, how we doing? All right, you guys. My new streaming time is going to be 5:30 p.m. PST every Monday and Wednesday. I want to make sure I'm getting more consistent for you guys. And in order to do that, I need a more reasonable streaming schedule. And in order to make that happen, we're going to do it 2 times a week, but at the same time every time. Because 6:30 is when I have all my community calls and stuff. So to kind of navigate that, we're going to be going live at 5:30. Now, you guys, today is going to be a little different than what we're used to. How many of you guys have ever dove into like occult knowledge? You know, like what the elites kind of have known for generations, but have gatekept from the people. I'm curious. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Once again, I am a little delayed because I don't have my normal monitor set up, but we're still going to cover it all. We're still going to cover it all. So what's different about occult knowledge and what I've kind of picked up is all the elites use symbols to convey information, right? This is kind of why a bunch of the elite individuals are using different forms of like, I don't know if I want to use the word subconscious communication, but it's like metaphysical and occult meaning behind the information. And it's kind of going to be broken down in a similar manner to kind of all the things we talk about related to mindset, spirituality, how we take control of ourselves, right? But my goal with this is to really show you how to master yourself and transform your life. So we'll kind of start diving into it. Now, for the 16 of you that are here, if you're ready to get this rolling, let me get a 1 in the chat. Now, just know there are going to be some crazy things that you're about to see over the course of this video. So if there's ever something you do not understand, drop like a 0.5, 0.5, or whatever we're kind of talking about and whatever it's related to. We'll kind of go from there. Let's get it rolling. So the most fundamental piece of information we need to understand is that we are mind, body, and soul. What's so important to understand about this is one cannot function without the others. Now, the issue is individuals struggle to balance the material and immaterial nature of our existence. Now, what do I mean by this? So many people lean too much into the material world, right? Individuals are too plagued by desire and the pursuit of sex, food, consumption, greed, power. That means we're living in the material world. That's kind of why all the elites use symbolism like, oh, the 666, the black box of Saturn, Like all those things are alluding to devotion to the material world, right? Because those are the lower planes. Those are the lower planes of energy. It's the material world. Now, over the course of this video, my goal is to show you how it is a game of balancing both planes, right? If we're supposed to use our thoughts and our emotions to create a new reality for ourselves, then we need to use those thoughts and emotions to do something in the physical world. That's kind of what they say is like the reason we incarnated here on Earth is to learn lessons about what it's like to be in the material experience. Now, the biggest thing we need to understand is that we are not our thoughts, we are not our emotions, we are not our traumas, we are not our experiences. That at the core fabric, we are the invisible intelligence behind it all, right? We are the awareness experiencing itself. Now, this awareness manifests mind, body, and soul, right? Soul is the closest thing we have to the spirit, right? The spirit is the source of everything. So we'll kind of be stitching this to Joe Dispenza wisdom as well, right? And the Joe Dispenza wisdom talks about how we are this quantum self, and everything about our material experience manifests from this immaterial realm. And because it manifests from this immaterial realm, we are all tapped into the same energy. Now, I want you to drop a 1 in the chat if you understand the invisible intelligence, if you understand the quantum field, and you're starting to see how everything we experience immaterially and materially are manifest from that environment. I want to see ones. I want you guys to engage with me throughout this, right? I don't want to be speaking to a computer screen. I want to be speaking to you guys. I want to be having dialogue. I want to be having conversation. Cosmic Compass. Yeah, I made the stream. Welcome to the stream. Matt, what's up? Alex J, what's up? Best. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. He said, give the chef what he wants. I love that. It's okay. We're gonna get everyone on the new schedule, right? So if you're just tuning in, the new schedule is Mondays and Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m. PST. And people will start rolling in at their own pace. But in order for me to do this at a more sustainable level, I'm going to be sticking to that Monday and Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. PST. So drop the notifications on, set it on the calendar, whatever you do, we're going to make it happen. Now, let's get back to the material. So mind, body, and soul. Fundamentally, our main objective is to master the lower states of being so we can operate from a higher plane of control, right? From this higher plane, we have more insight. So we're going to talk about this down the road, right? But if we look at the chakras, right? The chakras are 7 energy centers in your body. They're 7 little energetic environments in which your brain is interpreting stimuli, right? So if you have a struggle with food, sex, or power, or how you like look externally, then you are operating from the lower 3 chakras, right? The sacral, I don't even know what their names are. I've got images of them, but it's the bottom 3 chakras, right? That's our lower state of being. It's the lower hierarchies of kind of our choices for living. We're operating for survival, right? Reproduction, food, consumption, right? So these are the things that actually program our subconsciousness, right? These are the things that program our subconscious to operate and always be on fire for those realms, right? If you struggle with food, if you struggle with sex, if you struggle with any type of addiction, it's because it's programmed through one of these realms. Now, I'm realizing they use all this crazy symbolism. They use all this crazy symbolism throughout time. But what were they trying to tell us? They were trying to tell us that humankind Man is the bridge between heaven and earth. Like, really think about that. Man is the bridge between heaven and earth. Because in our body lies universal intelligence. But it's nothing about our biological system, our nervous system. None of that is the universal intelligence. The pineal gland right here is the throne of God, because it's where the universal intelligence sits. Now think about that. We're channeling this intelligence, this awareness, and then we're rooted here in the material world. So we are the bridge. Now, I want you to drop a 3 in the chat if you've heard of the Holy Trinity. Drop a 3 in the chat heard about the Holy Trinity. All right. Yeah. So the root chakra, red, sacral, orange, solar plexus, yellow. Right? Those are the lower states of being. Those are the lower states of being. I want to see some more 3s. I want to see some more 3s, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. There we go. All right. Now, over the course of this video, I really don't care what you believe, what religion you subscribe to. Our entire life is about man and his search for meaning and our connection to a greater source. So if you have that in your life, God bless you, and wherever you find it, keep looking to it. But I want you to stay with me here. Objectively, I want you to look at the insight I provide. I want you to look at the insight I provide and be like, you know what? There might be something to that. Because as soon as you start living in that manner, you are going to understand all the civilizations before us were leaving us metaphors, parables, symbolism to awaken this insight within us. Now, the Holy Trinity, right? Here we are. Mind, body, and soul. This is what we just talked about. We are comprised of the Holy Trinity. Think about it. All 3 of these ecosystems operate together in harmony, giving us experience. This gives us the experience we have as a human. But we're not just human. We're not just mammals. We have mind, body, and soul. So the goal with this information is to allow them to work in harmony. And in order to allow them to work in harmony, we need to master our lower states of being. Now, your whole goal is to achieve oneness. Your being becomes whole when all parts of you work in harmony. Your energy is fragmented when you struggle to create coherence in your being. Now, what do I mean by that? If you have insight that you need to stop eating like shit, but you continue to eat like shit, then your mind, body, and soul are not in alignment. You are telling yourself you need to do something and then doing something differently with your body. So the Holy Trinity is fragmented. Now, when we connect with our soul, the source, our highest calling, right? Man was created in the image of God. We are an ocean and a drop, not just a drop in the ocean. We start channeling our deepest intuition and wisdom. Think about that. I want you to drop a 1 in the chat if you guys have ever experienced your intuition just telling you to walk a path. Like, Grant, I know this doesn't sound logical, but just go this way. Just trust me. It's that Jiminy Cricket, that little voice in your ear. Drop a 1 in the chat if you've experienced intuition. Now, when we listen to this intuition, when we listen to this wisdom, we are called to submit our lower states and surrender those lower desires to the highest wisdom and guiding force. Now, I hate to break it to you, but suffering comes from not living in alignment with this wisdom. because it's always calling you to be in alignment. When you are misaligned, deep down, you can lie to the entire world, but the only person that you cannot lie to is yourself. I'm sure you guys have experienced it. I know I've experienced it. I experience it all the time, right? That's what makes us human. We're not perfect, but we are called to serve a greater purpose. Now, through living in alignment, through listening to this intuition and wisdom from the higher planes, we can then master our mind. And our mind is where all creation begins. This is what law number 1 of the Kabbalion is. The law of mentalism. No thing can exist unless started within the mind. This microphone was in someone's head before it came into physical creation, right? This camera that I'm filming on was in someone's head before it came into physical creation. Knowing this, we need to use our intuitive guiding force to master our mind, which is the thing that operates our body, right? When we master our mind, we can operate our body in alignment with greater good. Beth says, what's AI then? AI is the collective unconscious mind. Think about it. When you're doom scrolling for 8 hours, all these companies are collecting your data. What are they doing? Bro, ChatGPT, OpenAI. Bro, this is all the symbolism, right? All the elites are literally just like mocking us. OpenAI. But it's the collective unconscious, because all the things you do on autopilot, it's recording and it's trained on your information. And then it's trained on all the research humanity has done throughout time. And now we've got quantum computing, which can do even crazier stuff, but that's a story for another time. Now, let's keep it rolling. Man was created in the image of God. I'm going to let that sit for a second. In the Bible, they say, man was created in the image of God. Now, let's reflect on what I just said. Why is it that God is reaching for man? Why is it that God is reaching for man? Because that intuitive source, that wisdom within us, is always reaching out to us to get us back to alignment. It is always presence. Always presence. Its presence is always present in our life. Now look it. God's literally in the shape of a brain, ladies and gentlemen. He's literally in the shape of a brain. But it's not some man in the sky. It's that infinite, invisible intelligence and consciousness. Right? It's the immaterial. It's the quantum field from which the material matter manifests. You're not your thoughts. You're not your emotions. You're not your choices. You're not your actions. You are the awareness behind it. You are the observer of it. Now, elites use symbols. Why do elites use symbols? Because a picture is worth 1,000 words. Think about that. You're able to convey so much wisdom in the form of imagery. Now, the truth is, for the average person, they aim to create separation through confusing you. They aim to make it just overstimulated where you're like, oh my God, your ego just kind of spirals out of it. So I need you guys to make me a promise. I am going to show you how all symbols say the same thing, but I need you to do one thing for me. We're going to follow these 4 rules. Before we get started, I want you to drop a 4 in the chat. Drop a 4 in the chat so I know that you are going to align your mind with this mindset. Because this is the only way you're going to be able to internalize this knowledge. So, As those four come in, just know it's never this or that. Your ego, your mind, the logical side of your brain is going to aim to fight back because this information is going to challenge your beliefs. It is going to be like, is it good or is it bad? This is the devil's teachings. This is the devil's teachings. No, that's the God. That's God. It's always going to be about the this or that. So our need to label good and bad, or God and the devil, or hot and cold, is what keeps our mind paralyzed in the lower planes of duality and materialism. So I set the stage. I said, hey, our only goal is to overcome our lower states of consciousness in order to get into more elevated states of consciousness to become a creator in our life. And I'm telling you right now, your need to understand, your logical mind going to try and find reason for this. Just know, reason does not exist in higher planes. Nonlinear dynamics is this form of math that takes chaos theory, right? Chaos is the theory that over the course of existence on Earth, there is too much data. Like there's too much data to find causation in things through using an ABCD led to EFG type of logic, right? So just know that because everything comes from the same source, it all anchors back in ways beyond our logic sometimes. Which leads me to the quantum physics. On a subatomic level, all material creation comes from an infinite pool of energetic potential. I needed to anchor this in like the Joe Dispenza teaching, right? Everything comes from the source of energy, that infinite intelligence. Like think about it. The quantum field exists as a wave and a particle at the same time. Everything exists as a wave and particle at the same exact time. Something that manifests into physical existence can be pulled back into the immaterial and not exist. Right? This is the thing that bridges the duality. This is the thing that bridges the good and the bad, the physical, the non-physical. Your goal through 3 points of wisdom is to look at this, to look at that, and to pick the most elevated piece of insight using our intuition and wisdom. That's why they use this, the all-seeing eye. The all-seeing eye is beyond all construct. So everything under it, it can understand. But it's because that intelligence is not bound by the constructs. This infinite pool of consciousness literally is unconditioned. Even though every potential reality exists in it through the potentialities, nothing exists yet. That's the thing that transcends all paradox. Now, 3, logic is only going to get you so far. Think about it. Logic and reason is only one half of the brain. If you try and understand everything, you never will be able to because half of your brain is creative, intuitive, and rooted in surrender. Right? Logic is masculine. Reason is masculine. It's penetrative. It's, I need to understand this. There needs to be a logic. Now, the other side of your brain, the feminism, the feminine, is receptive, right? It's intuitive. It goes with the flow. It surrenders. You need a balance of both of these because this is where the enlightenment happens. When your logical brain and your creative brain, which are polar opposites, work together in unison, you experience what I'm about to show you over the course of this. Now, awakening, all this information, you guys trust me. I know I'm 25. But I've been everywhere people want to go mentally, right? If people are after awakening, if they're after enlightenment, that is not what you want. I'm going to tell you what you want over the course of this video. Awakening, right? Just falling into the sauce, the stardust, all this information and not grounding it is where insanity comes. This is why I preface this information with we're mind, body, and soul. We are the higher planes of infinite intelligence anchored in a material body. We are both. So we need to honor both. We need to find balance in them. And I'm going to show you how they work together. Our goal is to use this higher wisdom to be better humans. Use these tools in life. We do not want to get lost in the stars and conspiracy of who, what, where, when, and why, right? That's what all the religion and the conspiracy theorists talk about. Who, what, where, when, and why. Well, to me, that sounds like the ego. The logical mind needing to understand the 5 W's. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to step behind the curtain. If you're ready to step behind the curtain, I want you to drop a 5. Drop a 5 in the chat to let me know you are ready for me to just pull the curtain on all the symbols and tell you what the game's really about. And I want you to let me know if you like this type of content too. I know I talk a lot about like the neuroscience, the Joe Dispenza, the manifesting, but let me know if you like the esoteric knowledge, if you like the occult knowledge. Let me know. Let me know. Yeah, Juan says awakening the Kundalini. We're going to see that. But it doesn't need to be as like cataclysmic for some people as a Kundalini awakening, right? I wouldn't strive for that. You have to understand is like, you'll never be able to awaken something through just reading books. You have to live. Mabbits, when you say that. I like. Just know your goal is to use this information in your everyday life because think about it. The people that have come across this information, we did not have technology back in the day. Hundreds of years ago, when Plato and Socrates were doing their thing, they just observed reality. Think about it. That's how we got our information, through observing it. So let's get back to the roots. If you really want to put this to work, let's look at these symbols and observe reality and start to find the synchronicities. Now, everything is a symbol pointing to your true nature of being. How could it not? Man is the only one that created the information. The creator, God, used his tool of creation to make us, the created. Man is the only one that's been able to document and observe. Think about that. So everything is actually an interpretation of you. Whoever's sitting on the other side of this, the 32 of you, everything you're about to see has to do with you. Unity, no separation. Now, let's break it down. How many of you guys understand the concept of the duality of man? How many of you guys experience the duality, that war within you, the higher planes versus the lower planes, the version of you that wants to live the life of your dreams, to maximize your potential here on earth, but the version of you that also likes McDonald's, right? That is the war, the duality of man, a tale as old as time. It's because we've been trained to think that good and bad are separate, to think that there is this battle. But think about what positive and negative energy do. They create paralysis. They create a duality, a polarization. The polarization keeps you stuck. Think about it. You're polarized. You're suspended between positive and negative energy because you haven't freed your mind from it. Your mind is trapped in these energetic centers. So we're going to break that down. Now, your goal is to surrender to change or suffer in a loop. Exactly, Juan, 2 sides of the same coin. This is your higher self versus your lower self. Yes, the yin and the yang. Talks about a lot of things, right? Good and bad, God, devil, black, white. But I want you to look at it through the lens of the higher self and your lower self. And I need to get my laptop charger. I need to get my laptop charger so we can keep this rolling. Just give me 7 seconds. we're back. We're back. That would have been bad if it died on me. All right. We got energy isn't really good or bad. Energy always has information in it. It's linked to consciousness. Exactly. Like for real. But think about it. In order to get to that understanding, we need to navigate the things that man has created, right? Man has created all the gods and the devils within us. It's all through stories. It's all through tales. Now, parlaying of what Dr. Joe Dispenza says, that infinite field of consciousness is energy. But energy, right, the fabric, is also conscious, which is carrying information at all times. But the only way it carries information is through what we communicate with it. That's why it needs an observer. Existence only is a thing because of creation. We need this duality. In sacred numerology, the best way I can describe it to you guys is, in sacred numerology, they talk about the one, right? The source. But to speak of the source isn't the true source because you're inherently creating a separation from it. So that source is all-encompassing. That's why it can only be experienced through being, through surrendering this, through meditation, through sitting with that awareness. That is the only way to experience it. Now, to understand the one came the two. Look at it. If the one is the white light, if it's the source of all things, if it's the pure light, in order to truly experience itself, it needed a polar opposite, the darkness, the black, the two, because that is like a mirror. Think about it. All the dark versions of yourself that you suppress, all the negative things you do not want to look in the mirror and come face to face with, we've all got them. That's where your evolution lies. In order to know yourself, you need to face your darkness. Then you free your energy. Now, let's look at this a little further, right? This is something I put together from one of my older videos. So, this energy field has been mapped. Consciousness has been mapped. So, ultimate consciousness, right? Transcending out of this state of creation into that infinite potentiality source, that pure potential is ultimate consciousness. No separation, pure unity. And now, the further we slide down this spectrum, the more separation we experience. Right? The more fragmented our being becomes, the more illusions we partake in. Right? So if we're thinking about it like coming full circle to the chakras, if we're living in the lower energy centers, look at this is the spectrum of consciousness, not the chakras, but look at how they've done the coloring. What do we say? It was the root chakra, the sacral, and then the solar plexus. Those lower states, if we're living there, then we're experiencing more separation from the source. Now, let's look at this energy spectrum manifested in multiple ways. So if you're playing this game of good and bad, politics is one of the easiest ways they get you. It's one of the easiest ways they get you. If you're playing this game of red and blue, God and the devil, good and bad, black and white, nothing in life is black and white. Then you're stuck. This is why this guy is suspended in space-time. We're stuck. Got to overcome it. Got to overcome it. The only way to truly experience life is to surrender it, to realize that they inherently are the same. Light can't exist without the dark, ladies and gentlemen. As soon as we accept this, this is what surrendering is accepting the things that happen to us. Then we put our energy in motion. Motion, energy in motion, we start to begin to experience in life. But think about it. If you're stuck, it's because you're on the same thought loop. You're in this karmic loop, which is why you spiral down. You guys can look up spiral dynamics. Fundamentally, energy is like a vortex. So if you're in the lower states of being, you're in life consuming energies. You're getting your battery drained, which is why shit just sucks sometimes. because you're in that vortex and you're attracting all that to you. It's a denser state of physical matter. It's a slow wave, which is manifesting as physical matter, right? When you're in lower states, you're rooted in sex, food, greed, power. All those things are rooted to physical things, the material world. Now, if we can master this and start to live with love, intuition, wisdom, which are the more elevated states, we start to experience life-affirming energies. Because when you have this wisdom, you are not living for yourself anymore. You stay stuck in the physical planes of matter because you are selfish. You are doing it for you. I am going to consume this. I want this. I want that. The life-affirming energies is selfless, saying, I am willing to overcome my lower states because me being the best version of me isn't just for me. It's for every living life form that comes across me. So I want you to drop a 2 in the chat if you're starting to understand a little bit more about how the duality of man is the thing that keeps us stuck. It is the thing that keeps us paralyzed, our mind stuck in lower planes. Drop a 2 in the chat so I know you're with me. Let me know. And if you need me to break it down a little more, drop a 1.5. Drop a 1.5 in the chat. If you're like, I kind of get it, Grant. We got to break it down a little further. There are 30 of you here. I need to see more 2s in the chat. If you've been around for these live streams, you know how this goes. You know how this goes. Let's make this happen. Community engagement. Drop a 2 in the chat. There's 30 of you here. Damn. At least we got 1. I feel a little disrespected, ladies and gentlemen. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. All right. What does it look like when we overcome this duality? This is where we can bring in the idea of the serpent. The serpent. Adam and Eve, the serpent in the Garden of Eden. The Vesca Pisces, or it's Hermes' staff with the serpents that go like that, right? What's going on here? The serpent symbolizes the internal instrument of the higher ego, which serves as the connection between the higher and lower mind. Think about it. We are a walking connection between heaven and earth. We are a walking connection between heaven and earth. They got you thinking about the firmament. Oh my God, is Earth flat or is it round? Bro, who cares? We can't change anything. They just use external symbolism to keep you confused. A firmament, a firm mind. A firm mind is preventing you from elevating your wisdom, being stuck in your old ways. Now, your focal point is your point of connection. This is where duality is connected, right? Remember when I drew the vortex? You see how the energy goes like that? Yes. Chais Monad, I hope I'm saying that first part of your name right, says, I think of heaven as a state of mind that can be achieved here and now. It is, and I've experienced it. If you guys want, I can tell you about some of my crazy spiritual awakenings. I don't really share that on the internet, but it's the reason why I'm here. So eventually it'll come out. But yes, heaven is a mind state. How many of you heard that J. Cole song? Heaven is a mind state. I've been a couple times stuck in my old ways. I keep on falling down. Heaven is a mind state. The kingdom of heaven. Heaven is a mind state. I've been a couple times stuck in my old ways. I keep on falling down. Your old ways, the lower states of being, energetic spiral down. Are you guys starting to see how all the symbols are the same? Like everyone's talking about the same thing. Now, we must learn to balance our connection to both the material and the spiritual world. This is what the game is. It's not about sitting in meditation or visualizing all day. We're in the physical plane where action is required. Action is required in the physical plane. I hate to break it to you. Things need to get set in motion in the physical world if you want to have a physical experience. And we can't just be overconsumed by the physical world. So lost in our desires that we need such short-term dopamine because we don't have patience to get there. We cannot lean into one direction too aggressively. Our lower states serve the higher states. Think about it. If your goal is to get in shape and you are eating like shit and not working out, then the lower states of desire, consuming food, dominate your higher state. But if you can overcome those impulses and master the lower states, then you are in control. Chais Monad says, the body needs to be programmed by visualization and repetition to have the biological effect of change. Yes, that is very true. But I also challenge everyone where it's like, if you want to change, then change. You don't got to go run a marathon, go on a walk. And you immediately are a different person. People get so stuck in their head. They are stuck in the spiritual realm. They cannot change in the physical world. Here we go. Full circle, ladies and gentlemen. The duality of man. This is what I was referring to earlier. The kingdom of head Vin. All right. So by no means am I Picasso. No means am I Picasso. But this is your brain. Okay? This is your brain. Both hemispheres of the brain. The left hemisphere, the logic, is the sun, right? It's all duality, right? This is where, all right. Before I get into this, I need to know you're going to stick with me. Everything we're talking about is the same thing. There is no difference, right? If there's duality, there's actually unity. So we got the sun and the moon, right? The black and the white, the black and the white, the logic, the emotion, the logic, the emotion. Our brain has two hemispheres, logic, emotion. Enlightenment is when they start working together. Because when the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere go in sync, it secretes from the pineal gland, which is causing mystical experiences. All right. In Latin, sun is soul. Moon is mon. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? The soul of man's temple. In the Bible, Solomon's temple, King Solomon, the soul of man, temple. It's literally called a temple. The soul of man's temple is the pineal gland. I want you to drop a 1 in the chat if this is making sense. Drop a 0.5 if you're like, Grant, I need you to break it down. And if that's the case, I want you to ask a question with it. Let me know if you're with me now. Let me know if you're with me now. Moral of the story, right? Even if we bring it full circle to Dr. Joe Dispenza, what happens? Your thoughts, you send to the quantum field, and the emotions are the electromagnetic frequency you draw back. Still duality. Thoughts and emotions need to work in coherence. Your brain and heart have to work in coherence to interact with the field. But, okay. Enlightenment is when your mind is freed from the densities of the lower dimensions. What do I mean by that? If we're experiencing paralysis in the lower planes, right? Good and bad, good and bad. As soon as that enters unity consciousness, right? We're no longer bound by the red and blue, the black and the white, the good and the bad, the God and the devil. We literally experience unity. The most fundamental core of sacred numerology is 1 and 2. Man and woman, man and woman, man and woman. Dark and light. Once those two merge, creation happens. Literally think about it. Man and woman come together, no longer separated by their differences, in an act of love to create. That can happen on the macro level too if we go back and look at the source or the Tao. Now, why am I talking about this? Shelly, why are you dropping a 0? Why are you dropping a 0? Chase Monad says, yep, good stuff. Very few content creators discuss this type of stuff in an interactive fashion. You guys is cool. This is cool stuff. It's like, I used to be, oh my God, like this is crazy. But it's like the more you study it, the more you realize it's part of our being. So the more you realize it, it's part of our being. So duality of man. Overcoming this duality is the thing that allows you to ascend in consciousness because you're no longer bound. Now, this is what the return to heaven is, right? Kingdom of Heaven. All right. So, duality, polarity, yin and yang. The two snake, they're balanced but stuck. When they stop fighting, polarity, good and bad. When you stop playing that game, the snakes stop fighting, and guided by the more intuitive states, the source that they came from, they climb together in the 3D. They work together to ascend. Now, this is the caduceus. This is what I was describing earlier when I was like, Hermes staff. When the snakes work together, you achieve unity in colorful diversity. There's a lot to this, right? But unity, consciousness, is the balance of duality. When two become one, two snakes become one. That's what they're doing. That's what the yin and the yang is. Like, if you actually understand the concept of the yin and the yang, it's this. Because they're not separate. But we learn lessons about the light through the dark, and we learn lessons about the dark through the light. All right. Drop a 2 if you feel like you're overcoming duality. Drop a 2 in the chat if you're getting this. I'm curious. You guys starting to put it together? You guys starting to see it? Now, these are not about magical staffs. They're about you. You. This is what's going on inside of you. But the elites use symbols to give us that information. There are 28 of you here. I better see damn near 28 2s. Let's go. Sean and Shelly, they get it. Paul's getting it now. Yes, sir. Full circle. I need to see some more 2s. Jaya's getting it. Let's go. But do you guys see what unity is in your being? When you can finally create for yourself, you've overcome the lower states. Your lower states of consciousness are working together with your higher states of consciousness. Your mastery of the immaterial plane is the reason you can create on the material plane. This is where your power comes together. Now, here's some even crazier stuff. The all is one. There's no separation. In French, je suis, Jesus. In French, je suis means I am. Like, come on. Like I said, I don't read too much into the details. I just look at that and I'm like, that's weird. There might be something to that. And I don't allow another human justifying their existence to tell me what's going on. I feel it because it's within. It's inside. It's internal. Think about it. Why are I, the letter I, and 1 the same? In Roman numerals, I is 1. I to look within and see. The observer. The observer. Yes, Chais, when man and woman come together, there is wholeness. That's why they try to break up the family. Think about it. When man and woman are working together to create a family, they don't give a fuck about the government or what they have to say. They're taking care of their kids. The family unit. That's why they want to break up the atomic family. Spiritual warfare, ladies and gentlemen. This is just the beginning. Now, this is your nervous system. This is a tree's roots. The body is the earth. Your body is made of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. The 6 core particles of the universe, the earth. This is the material expression of the divine. But it was created in order for the invisible intelligence to sit on the throne of God. Shelley says it's 222 in Ireland. Think about it. We are the balance of heaven and earth. Heaven is that invisible intelligence, that consciousness within us, balanced on earth. This is how it's balanced. Think about it. If I'm touching myself, I'm not actually touching myself. It's the nervous system interpreting electrical stimuli and communicating that to my awareness. The body is the earth. We are harmonic beings. Look at this even further, right? Remember the caduceus, the 2 serpents? Look at the DNA strand. Look at the musical scale. The universe, the one song, the musical scale, the DNA strand, energy centers. You guys, at this point, I'm like, if people don't believe this, you need God in your life. No, that's a joke, but literally, for real. Like, you can't see this and be like, there is no creator. No, it came from the source, the unity, the one. That's why it's all the same. As above, so below. All of creation embodies the traits of the creator. Man was created in the image of God. Earth was created in the image of heaven. Now, this is like a full-scale synopsis before we kind of wrap this up. Remember, our goal is to master our multi-dimensional nature. Multi-dimensions. Mind, body, and soul. Mind, body, and soul, ladies and gentlemen. The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Once we master this, we can begin to create. But look, the nature of reality. We have energetic potential and physical reality. We have spirit and matter. We have God and the devil. We have our highest self and our lowest self. It's the balance of duality that frees us from this polarization, right? That's why it's about transcending the duality of man. As above, so below. I have 3 eyes, 2 to look and 1 to see. You have been given the gift of infinite intelligence, consciousness, awareness. Map says to understand this, we have to use our imagination. To understand this, you need to be patient. You need to be curious. You need to let go of any predispositions you had, any programming of what reality is. When you do that, you can rebuild a belief system that fits the type of life you want to live. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. how to believe it. All I'm here is to merely pose you with new information that they did not give us in hopes that it better serves your life. Now, this energy field, scale of emotions with different energies, manifests in a variety of different ways, right? Chakras, different frequencies of energy centers. Emotions, different frequencies of energies. Light spectrum, different frequencies of energies. Your subatomic particles, different frequencies of energies. The goal with seeing all these synchronicities and patterns is finding harmony in both order and chaos. That's the tough one for people to do, is to find order, find harmony in both the order and the chaos. Right? There is harmony in the destruction of a universe as there is in the creation of it. It is cyclical. It is the nature of life. We need both. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that is about all I have for you tonight. I want you to drop a 1 in the chat if you like this type of content. You want me to find balance of it, right? I think Joe Dispenza's information is like a good balance of it. We're learning to balance the heavens and the earths through that information. We can totally keep talking about the occult symbolism, the esoteric wisdom. But I want to make sure that you guys are enjoying this type of information. Any questions, ladies and gentlemen? Any questions? Oh, yeah. You are so welcome, Paul. You are so welcome. I know. A little different than normal. We'll probably be back on the whiteboard on Wednesday. But for the 22 of you here right now, I'm going to let you pick the topic of my next YouTube video. What do you want me to talk about in the next YouTube video? Let me know right now before I go, because I'm about to go film it right now. Let me know. I could just do a free flow whiteboard. Like I could just get on the whiteboard and free flow top to bottom, see what I can cook. Sometimes that's when I do some of my best work, when I just let it come through. But you guys are also more than welcome. You're more than welcome to pick the topic of my video as well. I know that when I free flow on the whiteboard on the streams, that's when everyone's like, "Oh my God, we're cooking right now." But it's because of your guys' energy that I can do it. Because I see that it's impacting you, I transcend in that moment. That's why it's like a back and forth type of thing. Like I can't just do it alone talking at a screen. Like I want to make sure that I help you guys too, you know. That's why I'm doing it. Exactly. We feed off each other. We feed off each other. W. Mylan. 7 laws of the Kabbalion. We could do that. We could do that. I know I want streaming to be my main thing, but I think people are just more engaged on the whiteboard. You know, it's like they don't feel like they're in school. It's like live, it's raw, we're communicating, I'm drawing, I'm creating live. Like I think there's something special to that. But you know, can't force creation, can't get in the way of it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's my little 1-hour live stream tonight. I'm about to go make a YouTube video, but I appreciate you guys hanging out with me as always. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for everything. I'll see you in the next one.